for the business manager inside a firm, the manager should accept all positive net present value projects. Because for a positive net present value project, the contribution to future cash flow is greater than the cost of the investment. This will increase the firm value. In the opposite direction, if we have a negative net present value project, it will decrease the value of the firm. So the manager should reject an investment project with negative net present value. Because the shareholder want the firm value to be as large as possible. So if the manager accept the positive net present value project, this will add value to the firm. So the shareholder wealth will be increased. Based on the net present value decision rule, firms should pursue all positive net present value projects. But in some situations, the firm doesn't have enough resources. One way to overcome this kind of problem is to raise external financing from capital market or credit market. If a firm cannot raise enough money, so the firm has to make a choice among several investment projects, then the firm should use some form of capital rationing. This rationing of capital is motivated by external financing constraint or internal resource constraint. Once the capital is rationed, the profitability index is used in selecting investment project. What is profitability index? Well, the profitability index is the net present value of future cash flows divided by the required upfront investment. That is to say, profitability index describes the future cash value for every $1 investment today. If a project has high profitability index, then the shareholders should receive this investment. The typical steps in using this profitability index is like this. First, the manager estimates the future cash flows of each investment project. Then the manager selects the opportunity cost of capital to calculate the net present value of each investment project. Then the manager calculates the profitability index for each project. Finally, the manager will rank the projects by the profitability index and pick the projects with a high profitability index until it runs out of money. We only use profitability index when there is some kind of constraint. This kind of constraint can be generated by limited cash at hand, limited floor space, or the hours available from an employee to perform some mistakes. Sometimes if we have investment projects with similar revenue flow, but they have different costs in the future, then we can calculate the equivalent annual costs to compare costs over different time horizons. The typical steps in calculating equivalent annual cost can be: first, we identify the cost at each year. Then we calculate the net present value of this cost with its discount rates. And then we convert this cost into an annuity. We think this annuity will provide an equal maintenance cost for the time horizon. And then we calculate the equivalent annual cost. For multiple investment projects, if they have different equivalent annual cost and we need to make a choice, then we select the investment projects with the lowest equivalent annual costs. In summary, for this lecture, we ask how can we consistently evaluate various investment opportunities? The top selection rule is the net present value rule. The net present value rule allows us to evaluate projects in multiple dimensions. For example, the time horizon of the cash flows, the scale of investment, the profitability, and the opportunity cost of capital. These will affect the net present value of an investment project. So we can evaluate net present value to consider these different factors. Also, net present value provide a good proxy to evaluate how much contribution an investment project have to create the value for the firm. If we have limited resource, we calculate profitability index and select the project with the highest profitability index. Also, we will calculate the internal rate of return and net present value to check our evaluation of this investment project. We also have some appendix slides for the lecture 6. These appendix slides provide alternative selection rule in picking investment projects. So these slides are just for alternative rating. The top choice in selecting investment projects is the net present value rule. Thanks.